Even normal good guys can creep women out. So I'm gonna be counting down the top 5 ways in which guys can come across as creepy with women. Number 5, not leading romantically. What this means is that a guy is not showing any romantic interest in her up until the very end. And that could be on an approach, it could be during an interaction with a woman, or it could even be on a date. And this happened to me many years ago. I was on a date with a guy, and the guy was fine. He was perfectly pleasant. We had okay conversation going back and forth, but I wasn't even sure that he was interested in me up until the very end, where the last maybe 20 minutes of the date, he then sits next to me and he puts his hand on my knee. I didn't even know he was attracted to me, and all of a sudden he's making a very bold move that to me felt very foreign. So a lot of women will report that guys will do this. They will start with very platonic energy, very platonic kind of feel in the approach or the interaction, and then out of nowhere they will put the moves and it just feels uncomfortable because it feels like it came out of nowhere. Number 4, being inauthentic. Inauthentic mainly in the guy is not authentically showing that he is attracted to her. So this is kind of related to our last point, but it goes a little deeper. So this is when a guy feels pressure to be overly nice. This is when a guy doesn't feel very confident showing that he wants to make moves on her. So he'll do small little inauthentic gestures or things like, "Ooh, you look tense. Let me give you a massage." Where he's not really interested in giving her a massage, but he's looking for an excuse to touch her. Or he'll make some kind of excuse to touch her jewelry, or to, gives her a bunch of high fives, or he'll over compliment her, but it's not genuine. He's doing it either to get in closer with her, he's doing it to either be more attractive or appealing to her, but it's not true, it's not real, it's not authentic, and women can normally suss this out pretty quickly. And this is where we stop to talk about the definition of creepiness. The definition of creepy is when there is some kind of incongruency. What you're feeling on the inside is not how you're acting or being reflected on the outside. It's that and or self-doubt, shame, fear, when there's a lot of internalization that's happening, a lot of worries about how you come across, a lot of this pressure you put on yourself to come across as nice, or you're worried about offending, or you're worried about being creepy, which again, now you're acting in a way where you don't really want to be giving her massages or back rubs, but it's a much safer way to do it versus saying, "Hey, I'm really attracted to you." This happens throughout everything when all the worry is basically taking over, and you are not acting the way that you want to, but you're acting in a way that you feel is safest, where tons and tons of overthinking is happening, and women can normally sense this. But it's not authentic, it's not congruent, and it's just not real, it's not true. And that's why it comes across as creepy. So to put it all together, the definition of creepy is when there are signs of incongruencies, there are signs of self-doubt, of shame, of fear, and that normally leads to someone doing a lot of overthinking, a lot of internalizing, which again is going to come off creepy because the outsider can't really transparently see the other person for what their intentions are. So that's going to give you some clarity as to why these examples are coming off as creepy, which is going to move us right along to number 3. Lurking and not taking action. This is when a guy is thinking about talking to a woman, approaching a woman, having any kind of interaction with a woman, but his overthinking is causing him to not take action. Maybe he's afraid and he needs more time to warm up, or maybe he's worried because she's not at a perfect situation and there are people around. There are so many examples as to why he's not taking action, but for the most part, women can sense when a guy is looking at them. And so when they see your eyes on them and they see that you're not taking action, Now you're just coming across as a stalker. You don't want to do that, right? That's why the confident guys, the guys that normally are a little bit better with creating those connections with women, they're much more congruent with when they have a desire, they go and they act on it. They go and they want to talk to her. They go and they want to get curious about her. As opposed to the guys that are either full of fear or full of shame or so worried about how they come across. They're internalizing everything. They're waiting for those perfect moments, and those perfect moments never materialize. If anything, it gets much worse because the guy gets much more in his head, and the girl is getting more and more creeped out as she's sensing some stranger just gawking or gazing or looking at her. This also happens all the time during our night game, during nightclubs, bars, pubs, when a guy will pick a corner in the room, he'll hold on to his drink, and he will just be that hovering owl, as I call him. He'll just have big eyes and kind of be on the lookout to see which girl seems most approachable, which girl is maybe giving him an eye back, and he's just coming across as creepy and not as confident. Number 2, too intense. When a guy comes off very intense, especially off the bat, it is very creepy. It might be too intensive of a stare, too intensive of eye contact. It might be intensity in the way that he's asking questions, or maybe even in the frequency that he's asking questions, one question after the other question after the other question. And it's just the overall energy. It's almost like he is white knuckling it, like he's not truly enjoying it, like there's so much on the line for him. So the way that he comes across is like a really uptight, intense guys, which always comes across as creepy. And number 1, needy energy. The number 1 way that women will feel creeped out is when she feels a guy's energy is too needy. Needy is when a guy is coming across as anxious, right? So his eyes are huge. You can see that he's in that fight or flight mode. You can see that he's not relaxed and enjoying talking to her. So he's either anxious in his head or when he's reactive to her. So reactive can come across in several ways. Reactive can be that he's really very quick to try and please her or flatter her or get on her good side. And so he's very attuned to what she's putting out there, almost to the point where he's almost too attuned to it, meaning he's looking too deeply into it and often misconstruing what he's picking up on. But he's very reactive. He's desperate to get in her good graces. So he might be the dancing monkey, or might feel the need to make her laugh a whole bunch, or might feel the need to just completely give her nonstop compliments, or he might feel the need to offer favors and offer her rides or loan her money, or anything where he's desperate for her validation and her reaction. And it can also mean being reactive on the opposite side of the spectrum, where he's very quick to get upset. He's very quick to get offended or to get hurt or to come to conclusions or to think that they had something where it wasn't, but his emotional well-being is completely reliant upon hers. And when you have those things going on, that's going to make anyone come across as needy, which is the number 1 turnoff and the number 1 way that a guy can come off as creepy and unsafe to a woman. If you're struggling with any of the things that we just talked about, then click the link below and book a call now. Because if you're not creating the kind of connections that you want with the type of women that you want, then every day that goes by is an opportunity and time wasted. And the one thing that we all have in common is the loss of time. That's the one thing that you can never get back. So stop wasting time. Start getting the kind of life that you want with the kind of women that you want, because that is the number 1 indicator for life satisfaction, is who you pick as a life partner. And book a call. See if it's a good fit. If it is a good fit, we're going to get you into our coaching program where you're going to work with us for 90 days one-on-one, where you're going to get the constant feedback and the constant coaching to eliminate your insecurities, eliminate those self-limiting beliefs, eliminate the shame and the self-doubts, and finally replace them with unshakable confidence and a rock-solid image. We're not only going to do that, but we're also going to bring in models for you to role play with. so that you can learn how to connect with women instantly and give them that butterfly feeling where they're so mesmerized by your charm. And lastly, we're gonna take you out in person to our live 3-day boot camp so you can experience everything we teach and level you up quickly and putting it into action. So click that link below, book that call now, and we'll see if it's a good fit.